The United States, China, Canada, and the United Kingdom are not alone in experiencing inflation and an out-of-control economy. It's everywhere and even more worrisome in developing economies. As a result of the ever-increasing cost of goods on the market, all major economies around the globe have seen inflation rates increase year over year, with no solution in sight. There is no denying that inflation has been on the rise in recent years. And while this may not be the worst of it, many experts believe that the worst is still yet to come. Anna Titareva, an economist at UBS, quoted that the dramatic decline in real wage growth, which is a result of the sharp rise in inflation, is more likely to get worse as inflation rises. A Eurostat statistics explained report revealed that the euro area annual inflation reached a 9.1% increase in August 2022, from an 8.9% increase in July 2022. Inflation can be a very destructive force, eroding the purchasing power of consumers and businesses alike. This can lead to widespread economic hardship, as people are forced to cut back on spending and businesses are forced to scale back operations. While inflation has some short-term benefits, such as stimulating economic activity, the long-term effects can be very damaging. This is why it's so important to take steps to protect yourself from inflation, whether by investing in inflation-proof assets or by simply being aware of the potential effects of inflation on your finances. Welcome to Savvy Economist. In this video, we'll be talking about the rate at which inflation is dealing with global economies. Don't forget to please watch, like, and share this video if you enjoy it. Also, leave your comments and thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more related content similar to this. Let's start with the UK. Inflation in the UK is currently running at around 10.1%, which is higher than the average for developed economies. This is having a number of effects on the economy and people of the UK. Inflationary pressures are causing prices to rise, which is reducing people's purchasing power and leading to an increase in the cost of living. This is particularly difficult for low-income people who struggle to make ends meet. Inflation is also eating into people's savings, as the value of money decreases over time. According to a Forbes News report, a forecast from Citigroup claims that by early next year, 2023, UK inflation could experience a peak at a near 50-year high of 18.6%. The high level of inflation also impacts businesses, as it increases their costs and makes it difficult to plan for the future. This is leading to slower economic growth and, in turn, fewer jobs being created. Overall, inflation is having a negative effect on the economy and people of the UK. It is making life more difficult for those on low incomes and businesses and is holding back economic growth. The Bank of Canada recently announced that the inflation rate is expected to rise in the coming months. The inflation rate in Canada was currently sitting at 7.6% as of July 2022, which is really higher than expected. This is bad news for Canadian consumers, who are already struggling with the high cost of living. The rise in inflation will only add to the financial burden, and many families will find it difficult to make ends meet. There are several factors that contribute to the rising inflation rate, including the high cost of gas and food. The weak Canadian dollar is also to blame, as it makes imported goods more expensive. The situation is only expected to get worse in the coming months, so Canadian consumers need to be prepared for the worst. Inflation has been on the rise in the USA for the past few years, and this is having a major impact on the economy and people of the country. Higher inflation means that the cost of living is going up, and this is making it very difficult for people to make ends meet. Many people are struggling to pay their bills and keep up with their mortgage payments, and this is leading to an increase in foreclosures and homelessness. President Biden stated that his top economic priority is tackling inflation, and in response to this, he released a housing supply action plan. The sole purpose of this measure was to ease the burden of housing costs over time and boost the supply of quality housing in every community. This was a great action step by the U.S. government, but has it thus been able to stop the inflation rate? Recently, a coalition of tenant unions in the United States claimed that the White House has not still done enough to combat rent inflation. According to a report by the Washington Post, overall prices have peaked at 9.1% more than the previous year. This has made inflation remain the top economic problem facing policymakers, businesses, and households in the United States. In addition, inflation is also causing the stock market to fluctuate wildly, and this is making it difficult for businesses to predict their future earnings. As a result, many businesses are cutting back on investment and hiring, which is leading to an increase in unemployment. All of these factors are having a negative impact on the economy of the USA, and it is likely that we will see a recession in the near future. China, on the other hand, has also been seeing an upsurge in its economy as well. The country's inflation rate, as of July 2022, was 2.7%, and this is quite low when compared to other countries' economies. However, the country also finds itself hooked up in the inflation saga. China has been grappling with inflationary pressures for quite some time now as the economy continues to grow at a rapid pace. And while the government has taken steps to try and control inflation, such as raising interest rates and cracking down on speculative activity, it seems that the problem is only getting worse. What could be the possible causes behind these rising prices? There are a number of possible explanations for the rising inflation rate. Here are 10 possible causes. 1. Increased demand. If there is increased demand for goods and services, this can lead to higher prices. 2. Reduced supply. If there is a reduced supply of goods and services, this can also lead to higher prices. 3. Higher costs of production. If the costs of production go up, this can lead to higher prices for goods and services. 4. Government policies. Government policies can sometimes lead to higher prices. For example, if the government imposes tariffs on imported goods, this can make those goods more expensive. 5. Changes in the exchange rate. If the value of a currency falls, this can lead to higher prices for imported goods. 6. Inflation expectations. If people expect prices to rise in the future, they may be more willing to pay higher prices now. 7. Credit conditions. If credit conditions are tight, this can lead to higher prices for goods and services. 8. Speculation. If people are speculating that prices will rise in the future, this can lead to higher prices in the present. 9. Psychological factors. If people feel that prices are rising and they need to buy now before they go up even further, this can lead to higher prices. 10. Random factors. There are always random factors that can affect prices, such as weather conditions, natural disasters, etc. It is often said that inflation is a lagging indicator, which means that its worst effects are usually felt after the fact. This is why many experts believe that the worst of inflation is still yet to come. While prices have been rising steadily for some time now, the full impact of inflation has not yet been felt by most consumers. This is because inflationary pressures take time to filter through the economy. As inflationary pressures continue to build, we are likely to see prices rising even faster in the months and years ahead. This will put even more strain on household budgets as inflation eats away at the purchasing power of families. The worst of inflation is still yet to come, and we are only just beginning to feel the full effects. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. See you next time.